Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Cattle Site, and today we're here with Chance Farmer. He is a beef technical manager with Selko. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Sure appreciate it.
Very good, Chance. Thanks for joining us. We're at NCBA down in New Orleans, and you presented as part of the Cattlemen's College today. Tell me a little bit about your presentation.
Sure, yeah. It was a presentation really about managing mineral supplementation, and the primary idea there is that you can have the best mineral formulation in the world dedicated to meet your cattle's requirements, but if the cattle don't eat the mineral, it doesn't do them much good.
Very good. And so what are some of the management practices that can influence trace mineral consumption?
Sure. It's really kind of multifaceted, but the one thing I would say up front is to have your expectations set appropriately,
right,
and understand that it's not always going to be a 4 ounce per head per day intake, that cattle will fluctuate in their intake. What your job is as a manager is to try to smash down that intake variability over time.
Right.
And there's several ways of doing that. One thing is to make sure that your energy and protein requirements are being met first. If you don't get a handle on that, it's really difficult to get a handle on your mineral supplementation. The other thing is to make sure that your phosphorus level isn't so high in your mineral that it backs the cattle away from the mineral. You want to make sure that it's low enough that they actually go up there and consume it to get not just the phosphorus but the other minerals you're trying to deliver in that supplement. The other thing that's super important is to make sure you understand the relationship of your mineral supplement relative to your water location. I can't tell you how many times just moving your mineral closer to water or moving it further away can make serious adjustments to your mineral intake. And a lot of that's because a lot of these complete mineral supplements nowadays have a fair amount of salt in them. And one thing that controls salt intake is water intake, and so that can help you manage intake. The other thing that's important is just the trace mineral source that you use. So your copper, manganese, and zinc source can play a role in that. In particular, if you use the sulfate sources of copper, zinc, and manganese, what winds up happening is you get a free metal that comes off in that mineral supplement. And that free metal, that free copper, manganese, or zinc, has a very metallic taste. And if that is at the top of that mineral feeder, the cattle will get up there and it'll actually say, no, I don't really want to eat that. So that's another thing, is to try to use a more improved trace mineral source like Cattleman from Selko.
Very good. And let's talk about research, right? What kinds of research has Selko conducted on trace minerals? I know that's kind of the backbone of your products. So tell me a little bit about these recent studies.
Absolutely. That kind of gets back to what I just mentioned before about how the trace mineral source can affect intake. And a lot of the research that we've had done on that particular subject matter was done for us at the University of Florida. And what they found is that mineral supplements with the Cattleman product, that is a more stable product, the cattle actually preferred to consume compared to products that had the sulfate versions of copper, manganese, and zinc. And again, it gets back to the fact that when there's that free copper, that free metal there, those cattle are averted to want to try to eat that. And so we have some really nice palatability research from the University of Florida that suggests that they prefer to eat supplements with Cattleman. The other thing is, when you get moisture on those sulfate-based trace mineral sources, they tend to leach out because you get a free metal, and it'll either go to the bottom of the mineral feeder, or if you have holes in your mineral feeder, it'll just wind up on the ground. And so the same product you put in is not the same product that's in front of the cattle. So we've done a fair amount of research on palatability and stability, and have found that Cattleman really holds up well to the conditions, and cattle choose to eat those types of supplements.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all the information today, Chance.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
Very good. This is Sarah Mikesell with the Cattle Site.